Well, apparently Civivi is going into the elite realm of pocket knives. When Civivi usually comes to mind, I think of like Nitro V, Sandvik, maybe 9CR steel, all decent steels, but definitely in the, you know, budget realm. Flat G10, maybe if we're lucky, some micarta, focusing mainly on straightforward designs, basic materials, giving good value to the pocket knife world. And up till this point, that's been totally fine. Especially if you want something more premium, you've got WE knives with titanium handles and all sorts of different exotic blade steels you can choose from. So a few weeks back, when a package from Civivi arrived with the BROVA, the new Civivi Elite designed pocket knife, I was kind of blown away and also kind of scratching my head because this is using materials that we've never seen on a Civivi knife before, a new locking mechanism that Civivi hasn't used to my knowledge before, and after now having EDC'd it, I can't seem to stop carrying it. And so what we're going to do today is dive into this new Elite tier of Civivi knives to see what it brings to the table. And is this going to make WE knives obsolete? But before we do, I want to thank every single one of you regular viewers because we're celebrating today our 14-year anniversary here on YouTube. All the way back in 2012, on this date, I launched Gideonstactical and posted the very first video, having no idea what would happen. And now 14 years later, God has wildly blessed this endeavor, turning Gideonstactical into something I never thought was possible. And it has given me the ability to share my love of gear with you guys, giving you pros, cons, showing you what tools can and can't do to help you guys make wise choices when it comes to your gear that you trust and that you use. And so it's just amazing that I get to do this. So thank you to every single one of you regular viewers that have gotten us to this point. And if you're brand new to the channel, this is the first time you've ever watched a video here, I invite you to subscribe, like, become part of the GT crew, putting up content like this every single week. So with that said, let's dive in and talk some blades. All right, guys, well, I just learned a really brutal mistake that the fans, let's see if you guys can see them, right there, and then I have one right there. They just go right into a light socket, but I filmed the entire video without my little wind receiver protection piece over my mic, and it was blowing air right on it, so the whole rest of the video was so sometimes, hey man, that just happens. So I go up to the edit, and it's like, nope, all that content was trash. Sounds like I'm in a hurricane. So now I gotta, hey, it just gives me round two with you guys and share some thoughts that I kind of forgot. And that happens a lot. Where it's like, oh man, I could have thought about, man, I didn't talk about that. So all good. Out of the gate, guys, this is what stands out to me. Now, there are a couple different color combos. This one is the like accent blue, and then you got like brown or kind of like a copper and black, and then OD green, super cool. So you got three options. And the blade shape is definitely connecting with me. It's got a kind of harpoon clip point design. I really appreciate clip points. I know they aren't usually the top winner when I do like voting things like drop point, Tonto, clip point, like what's your favorite blade shape? These aren't usually in the top like two, but I love them so much. So here's what's great. Not only do we have a really kind of out of the norm blade shape, we are looking at S35 VN steel. I believe that is the first Civivi knife with S35 VN steel, HRC 58 to 60, right where you want it. And I gotta say, I really love having this steel. Now, before MagnaCut was on the scene, I mean, S35VN was kind of like my jam, my go-to. Rust resistant, relatively tough, and could put an edge on without much difficulty, and held a good edge. So then MagnaCut comes onto the scene and just kind of like kicks it to 11. So this is kind of like the little brother to MagnaCut in my opinion, and I've always said that. I've always felt that. So to get this type of steel on this knife with a hollow grind with 3.47 inches of blade length, like my favorite length. The most used length for me is 3 1/4 to 3.5 inches of blade length. Leave a comment what yours is. But with those characteristics coming together, this thing, as you're seeing with the B-roll that I'm running in here, using this blade, is like a Velociraptor claw. It is a, you know, like just laser beam of destruction against whatever material you're going to come up against. It is razor hair popping sharp. It should be because of the 0.13 stock thickness, and then the concaving hollow grind means that it is so precise. Now, hollow grinds have kind of fallen out of favor a little bit over the years. If you were to ask me, I probably prefer like a high, thin saber or flat grind. But I love having hollow grinds in the rotation because they add a level of sliceology. Yes, that is a Gideonstactical term we've come up with here at the channel that you don't always see. You just don't always get that with, say, a flat grind or a full flat ground blade. So those attributes mean that it's going to work like it should. It's going to work like a knife. Not like a crowbar, not like a pry bar, not like a screwdriver, like a knife that slices through things. Now, does that mean that the tip is very thin and precise? Yes, it'll pierce and penetrate like a wicked little dart, but don't treat it like a pry bar. Don't treat it like a screwdriver. Don't do it. You're gonna regret that move. So those characteristics coming together right away means that it is going to work extremely well, and they have chosen a steel, I think, that fits with this style of blade and is definitely going to outperform your normal Civivi steel choices. Now, can they carry that over into pricing? We'll talk about that and how that compares to ridiculously wild WE knives in a little bit. But we got to look at two other attributes that, to my knowledge, we've never seen on a Civivi before. But before we get to that, I got to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, VAER watches. These timepieces have been rocking on my wrist for almost 2 years now, going on so many different outdoor excursions, adventures, dinners out and meals out with Mrs. GT, and everywhere in between. And just like the potential for this elite Civivi to give us value and performance, that's what VAER watches has always done for me, because they choose some of the best Japanese solar movement, like on this C5 tactical field watch that I'm wearing today, and then they assemble it with their American workforce using excellent materials like 316 stainless steel, sapphire crystal that is scratch resistant over the face, locking screw down crown for extra waterproof capability, super luminova on the face so it just pops even hours after the sun's gone down, and you get 2 choices of quick change wristbands. And the C5 is just one of many styles and movements. You can go with more budget-friendly quartz or even AmeriQuartz options. You got several options in their solar power range, and then you can also go with automatic. They make excellent gifts as well. So I'm gonna have a link popping up here. It's in the description box below as well, so you can start exploring all the different designs and features and movements that VAER brings to the table. And if you've never ordered through them before, you'll be prompted with a 10% off your first order, just helping you guys save a little extra cash on an excellent timepiece. So I'm pumped about this next aspect, which is the top liner lock locking mechanism. Do you see how huge that stop bar is right there? I mean, that puts so many other blades to shame. And what I appreciate is, even though it's as smooth as glass, just skating across the action here, this blade is tizite. I mean, there is like no wobble, left, right, up, down. This is one of the most solid lockups I have ever seen on a Civivi knife. So I am totally digging that. And the way that this works is you have that button popping out, you deploy, and then you got this lock, think of like a liner lock, but it's on the top. It's not, but it's kind of like a compression lock that you would know from Spyderco. Has a very similar operation, similar action, but it's going to be cut into the handle, and you use this little button tab to depress, and then the blade closes. And I'm going to tell you this up front right away. If you're going to ask me, do you like top liner locks like this or push button locks like we see on a lot of Civivis, I'm taking a top liner lock every time if I have a choice. So I'm super pumped to see that. You know, VOSTEED was kind of one of the main brands that pioneered that kind of style. So here's one like that. So think of a VOSTEED. You're looking at very similar action and, you know, functionality to something like what you would get on a VOSTEED, adding to functionality, lockup, but also speed, both left-handed, like I'm opening right now, and right-handed. So you can literally just like depress it. And what's great is you don't even come close to it, so you're not gonna accidentally disengage it. So lock up, so solid, so smooth, and just a locking mechanism I wanna see on more Civivis for sure. But leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Do you prefer the push button lock or this top liner lock? Now, a knife can have great blade steel and blade action and lockup, but if it sucks to hold in your hand, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna hold it in your hand. So, what I really appreciate with this size of blade is that they've given us plenty of real estate on milled aluminum handles that flow through construction, comes in at under 4 ounces for a knife of this size. Impressive. And they've chamfered every single cutout, everything around it, giving us a little tiny hit of light jimping, and they have relied on geometry over tread because it's smooth, but the lockup, look at that. Dude, I am so in control of the tool when I'm using it. I don't feel like I'm holding on to a slab of metal. It's organic and it feels really locked in with that pinch, splits the fingers perfectly, and then gives me excellent grip with plenty of real estate out the back, even in a reverse grip. Bam, 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 bam. Really filling out the hand well, but then easily giving me the lockup to do harder tasks. You know, a lot of aluminum blades or titanium, slick metal, let's just call it, you know, an alloy blade. If that's what's on the handle, sometimes it can be slick and just like, yeah, it's fine to kind of like fancy dancy, but it's not going to actually get work done. This one, I'm able to do that. Now, final kind of touch-ons, obviously the accents before we get to the pricing. Pocket clip is identical to anything you would know, like on the Elementum. Nothing really to write home about there. We do have blue standoffs, pass-through, lanyard hole, all that jazz. And it's ambidextrous, tip up. Excellent. Zero complaints. Okay, so pricing. What is this going to cost? How does this compare to, say, a WE knife and the standard Elementum, Civivi, something like that? Well, these guys go, you know, between like 60 and let's say 80 bucks is kind of like the ballpark for most Civivis at this point, right? Value, performance, and they've got a lot to offer. This one is going currently for $123 is what I saw for each variant color that you choose. So let's just round up to, with tax, 125, right? Ballpark 125. And at any point in time, I'm going to have links popping up over to Knife Center, Blade HQ, DLT, Amazon, all the affiliates that I regularly partner with. So if there is a particular model that makes sense for you and you want to check it out, you can check those links. They're in the description box below as well. Do appreciate it when you use those links because they do help me continue to hit the record button after all these years. So really appreciate it. Sorry, I saw something like floating around. I'm like, what the heck was that? And for the materials and the action and the performance, I think that that is excellente. I mean, when we look at a VOSTEED right here, which does have aluminum and does have milled handles, so there are little details that they've really kicked it up with this, say, VOSTEED. I think this is the MARTEN. Is it on here? It's not on here. I forget. This is sporting 154 cm. S35 VN steel is better, in my personal opinion. But this has 154 cm. This is like 110, 120 bucks, ballpark, right in that same category. But you can see there's some just wild styling, and I love that I don't have to have a dedicated choil. This one, I do have to use the choil. It's very, very far away, but that's the way that they've cut in this particular style of backliner lock. So, this particular model, very competitive with other Chinese manufactured blades. You know, WE knives, I mean, they're doing wild stuff. Like I got milled titanium here on a frame lock. So, I mean, that's different than aluminum for sure. And then we got like crazy handle inlays. Can't remember what this steel is. I think it's M390 on this particular model. So, I mean, this thing is crazy. And I think it's pushing $300 if I remember correctly. And then here's like another model. We got micarta and then titanium and all these different crazy offsets, titanium pocket clip. And then we're sporting 20 CV steel. So obviously an upgrade over S35VN in edge retention. Actually, if you were asking me between the two, I prefer S35VN as a user steel. The trick is going to be as long as they can stay right around that like 120 to 130. If they start bumping up into 140, 160, you know, whatever, then I think they're going to be eating the lunch of a lot of WE knives. But if this actually empowers them to just kind of even like stay in the, say, plus 200 range for WE, most Civivis are under 100, and then they kind of have the sweet spot of, let's say, 120 to 140, and they give us S35VN and similar steels to that, and they start giving us some extra little features that you're not going to find on kind of a generic design. I think I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I would argue of the Civivis that I own, this is one of the most I have gravitated to in a long time. Very, very cool to see. Want to know from you guys, what do you think? What's your take? Leave comments. Appreciate you guys so much. And thank you again for all the years of your love, your viewership, your support. And I'm believing for just years and years to come of excellent stuff coming down the line. So many cool things behind the scenes, you know, that I'm working on, that I hope to be able to share with you guys in the next coming months and maybe a year or so, that we got going on, and so much more. So, sky's the limit, baby. Appreciate you. Check out the other videos, subscribe, and yeah, till next time, always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared. I'll see you out there.